Now, as most of you know, there are a bunch of different kinds of interviews. In most cases, in the federal government, you're going to be faced with a panel interview. And these days, many of those are virtual. One thing I would certainly recommend when somebody calls and asks you for an interview is to ask who is going to sit on your panel. Now, you may not know, they may not tell you, but you absolutely should ask. Why? Because you'll feel better if you know who it is. And if you've never heard of them, then you can go to LinkedIn and look them up on LinkedIn. And again, see who you know that they might know. Now, I'm not suggesting you be a stalker, but you can do your due diligence in preparing for your interview. And so you can create potentially a level of simpatico. The other reason you'll want to know who you're interviewing with is so you can get their email addresses and prepare, or at least have their email addresses to prepare your thank you notes. Now, in the federal government, the bulk of our interviews are behavior-based interviews, and the private sector uses these too. The theory of a behavior-based interview is that past experience is the best predictor of future behavior. Interviewing is inherently biased. It's the most biased part of the entire application process. To minimize that bias to the extent possible, agencies use or should be using behavior-based interviews. You should recognize these behavior-based interviews with questions like, give us an example of when. Describe a situation where you had to. This is the way that federal managers should be interviewing you. These are the questions that they should be asking. They should not be asking questions like, what kind of tree would you be if you could be a tree, right? So knowing that the interviews are supposed to be behavior-based, you can actually start to prepare.